Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Money, money, money. The world goes round with money, doesn't it? There's that wonderful cabaret, and we, of course, have a lot to think about, and we always want to get people who have new ideas about money, because other than putting it under your mattress or getting on a plane to go up to outer space, there's not too much that's different, except that I have found someone that has something that I hadn't heard about, and I invited him on the show. His name's Gary, Gary Polk. And Gary is certainly someone who, you heard him before. He has great credentials. He's a CPA, worked for the IRS. He has his own company now. He's founder of Strategic Wealth Advisors. And Gary, you must, I don't know if you can sleep at night because you're so excited about something that I think every family wants to know about.
That's true. Good morning, Anita.
Well, it's good. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that we're going to talk about something that, of course, you know that I have triplet grandchildren, and they're 12. So we haven't quite discussed, I haven't discussed this with their family, but now that you've brought up this whole thing about the college tuition, they're not there yet, but it's certainly very important.
Well, it's definitely different, and I am excited about it. It's something I hadn't heard of before I got involved with a company called Sage Scholars. And, the old saying, when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. Well, I found a situation and an opportunity that isn't too good to be true. So what Sage Scholars is, I offer through Sage, free college scholarship rewards. Rewards, think of it like frequent flyer miles, but for college credits, where a reward point is actually worth $1. So it's $1 for $1. So what I'm offering for our listening audience today is anybody who calls me, I will provide them with free 500 reward points or $500 of scholarship money towards a list of approximately 380 colleges around the country. Now, they are private universities. That's the criteria. And I have a list right in front of me of all the hundreds of colleges, and we add about 20 new universities and colleges per year. But just to call me on the phone, no obligation whatsoever, I'm going to offer $500 free scholarship for parents or grandparents for their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. On top of that, if they are willing to meet with me for a complimentary consultation, I will then give them an additional $500 bonus. So, in effect, $1,000 towards a college scholarship up to 1 year of college education at this large list of colleges.
So let me backtrack. So if I knew you, and this was 30 years ago, my son went to Emory, which is private, and means that whether you have that on the list or not, but the point is that I could go to you, and where we had to shell out a lot of money to get him through undergraduate and law school, it would have at least helped that first year. And that's what you're saying to me. Is that right?
I am. And say, for example, if the child was newborn or 1 or 2 or 3 years old, I didn't tell you all of it. So, yes, you would get $1,000 of free scholarship money, no obligation to purchase anything, no obligation whatsoever. If you, as the parent or grandparent, do purchase a financial product like a life insurance policy, a cash value life insurance, or a term insurance, or an annuity, or a disability policy, or a critical illness policy of about a dozen companies that are part of this program, you would then get an additional $4,500 plus the $1,000 in the year of acquiring this product, and every year thereafter that you keep the policy going, an additional $2,000 dollars or credits or points. And on top of that, to meet with me annually to review your new policy or annuity, an additional $500 of college credits. And if you know anybody that would like to know and take advantage of the same thing, an additional $500 for any referral.
Okay,
How
so
does
this
that
is
sound?
well, this is pretty
Too good to be true.
Well, no, I can understand this. What it is, and you just correct me, you're really dealing now with people who are concerned about their children going to college, being able to pay for it, and mostly there are no opportunities other than scholarships or something that comes up. So you're saying that there are companies now that if you're interested in working with them through you, there is money lying around for them. Do I have that?
That's exactly right. Up to 1 year of tuition with over 380 colleges.
Okay.
Which can amount to as much as $40,000 or $50,000.
Okay, but you have a list of colleges, I understand that, but just going back, so if someone is going to do the undergraduate, then they want to go to graduate, does it keep working?
No, it does not.
Okay,
it's
well
designed
that's
to
okay.
start as a freshman and go over the next 4 years.
Now, what if someone has already done this pay, whatever they call
Florida
that?
prepaid.
Yes. What happens to the money?
It does not affect any other scholarship, needs-based or merit-based scholarships or grants at all.
Just extra money they get.
Well, what it really is it's a discount off of the tuition. So it's dollar-for-dollar reduction of the tuition price, which is prearranged, agreed upon in contracts with these 380 so colleges and universities. And like I said, we're growing at about 20 new schools a year.
Okay, but let's go back to what someone has to do to be able to even apply to this for you.
Okay, well, upon them speaking to me, I would activate and set up an account for them with tuition rewards. And then every year when they keep, say, this policy alive or annuity alive or renew or the next year, they would get an additional $2,000.
Okay, but they have to now.
They log in. They would log into the site.
Yeah, but they have to buy something. Let's just go into this. Then you have to take on an insurance policy. They have to do something though that puts them into this
to get more than the original 1,000 free, no obligation scholarships.
Okay, so what would those things be? What do they have to do? You said there was a long-term health care or insurance?
There's life insurance. There's cash value life insurance, which, by the way, the accumulation of which can be used to supplement college in addition to the free credits. So that's a great thing. And, of course, it has the protection if, God forbid, the parent or grandparent would pass away, college would be funded instantaneously. It could be an annuity vehicle. It could be a disability insurance policy, a critical illness policy, an accident policy. So there's a whole menu of products that qualify for annual additional scholarship
I understand,
rewards.
but the point is that if someone were to go now to another financial advisor and they were to buy an annuity or something else, that's it.
They wouldn't
right.
qualify.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
so now for you are looking to help people in two ways, is the way I see this. You're going to help them with a very important document for themselves, and as a byproduct, they're going to also have tuition added. They'll be able to help their grandchild, their child, get money towards their tuition.
That's a great
Is that the way to?
That's exactly right.
I want to make this really clear so everybody understands
and
this.
certainly the policy is really the most important, is that have protection, build cash value. But if you need something to get you motivated over the top, this is a fantastic way of providing
definitely.
Up to 25% of the cost of college.
I do that, but I want everybody to understand this. So I'm sure a lot of people go to their financial advisors for many things.
Yes.
So now what you're saying, I am very smart. I have been working in this field for many, many years, and I've uncovered something that I can offer my clients that other people aren't offering.
Exactly.
And I mean,
exactly
that's
right.
really what we're looking at. So that's what sets you way
That's right.
above
and
other
the
people.
normal question that would come up would be, besides it sounds too good to be true, is what does it cost to participate?
Well, you said there wasn't any
That's
cost, that's what's attracting me. It's a matter of just purchasing a product that they would purchase anyway,
Right.
which you will deal with in a very good way to begin with.
Of course.
And this is just the additionals. Like when I do American Express and I get points, it's the same thing.
It is.
I've got to buy it anyway. Why not get points? And that's what you're saying, but this is going to go toward tuition.
That's right. And let me just add this. You may wonder, well, what kind of policy or how large of a policy do I need to buy to get these points? The size of the policy does not matter. You could buy a young child a small $25,000 whole life policy and spend $25 a month, a bank draft of 25, and count for the same as
Really?
a large policy.
That's
As
amazing.
a matter of fact, one of our newest companies, Gerber Life, you've all heard of Gerber Life, is all of their policies are now part of the Sage Rewards.
I love the Sage Rewards. That's so applicable if you're talking about education. I don't know who invented this, but you got to really hand it to that person or whoever did it, because this is brilliant.
I agree, and that's why I'm excited. I think you saw when I came in this morning, I was actually wearing a button that said, "Ask me about free scholarships." So I'm definitely, in my business, it's difficult out there to separate yourself from other people.
Sure.
Well, an insurance product is an insurance product.
Right.
Yes, I do strategies that I think are a step above. But if this is something that would interest somebody, please call my number. And just for the phone call, they're going to get $500 and an additional $500 to meet with me and not have to buy anything.
But that money isn't going to go as cash from you. That's going to go towards the...
Well, none of it's going to go as cash.
No,
It goes
I
into
understand.
an account that
Right.
is used for cash
Right.
when the
when
child
they decide to do something.
Exactly.
All right, so I'll talk about the phone. Would you like them to call your office number, the 954-423?
Either one, but the cell phone is usually what I give out.
Okay, let's give you the cell
295.
phone. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio, so let's make sure that you get your pencils out. Write the cell phone number down, 954-295-7327, and I'll repeat that. That's 954-295-7327. This is this is very important. Now that especially it's a holiday and people all gather around, and some of what people say when they have children is, okay, the economy is either up, it's down, but the most important thing is we have to think about college, tuition. What are we going to do? And so now you're going to say, well, I heard a radio show that I think you ought to make that phone call, or you ought to meet with Gary Polk and find out about it. Doesn't hurt. He's not going to tie your hands behind your back or your legs and lock the door. He's a very, very well-established advisor, financial advisor, and he will enthusiastically, I must say, he's a very enthusiastic person, will tell you all about this. Now, for some reason, if you don't have a child or a grandchild and you're not interested in tuition, I will tell you that he's someone you want to call anyway for other things, right?
Of course.
Because we're going to stick with that, but I think it is important for people to think about long-term care insurance. So, long-term health care insurance. You probably don't know this, Gary, but every month I write my own column on caregiving because I think it's very, very important. And when someone has long-term health care, it makes the caregiving a lot easier. Some people don't have it, and it bleeds, pardon the expression, their savings, and it is so important. But what people say, and maybe you can help us with this, let's say they're 70 years old, and they say, I can't afford it, no one will sell me a policy. What will you say to that?
Well, you're talking really to my passion now, and I'm really glad that you're really informed on this topic. I am certified in long-term care. It's like a specialty of mine. Well, most of that is not true. The long-term care industry has evolved significantly over the last 5 or so years. And very few people, percentage-wise, purchase these types of policies for the reasons that you just said. Not only is it expensive and hard to get, but there has been price increases. And could you imagine if you've owned a policy for a number of years and now you're 65 years old and you receive a bill and a notification of a significant price increase, which has happened to my own policy, actually 22% per year for 3 years in a row. My wife and I are getting increased on our very good policy. So the other thing is, even with these price increases, what happens if you don't use it? Well, like most insurances, you lose it. Insurance company is not going to give you back your money, so hard to get, it's expensive, rates can go up, and it's a use it or lose it. There's no wonder people aren't buying it. Well, now there's a different tune to be played. In addition to traditional long-term care, like I own, and it's subject to these increases in use it or lose it, there's something that I call asset-based long-term care. And instead of, and we kind of talked about this the last show about my lazy money strategies, this is another offshoot of a lazy money strategy. There's numerous other alternatives rather than traditional long-term care. For example, if you have dollars in a bank account or a investment that's not performing, and in your mind, in that bank account, you know you need long-term care. You know there's a high probability of occurrence, but you just don't want to or understand it, or it's too complicated, too expensive. So you've allocated $100,000 of your bank account towards long-term care should you need it.
You won't go very far.
But it's better than nothing,
okay.
Certainly.
Sorry.
So now, how about if you reposition? That's not an expense like my policy is an expense. I'm paying premium, not getting it back, but reposition that $100,000 into a insurance policy, an asset-based insurance policy that will leverage your money and from day one create a pool of dollars of $300,000 or $400,000. So leave it in the bank, and $100,000 will pay $100,000 of benefits, or reposition those dollars and have your 100 provide $300,000 or $400,000 of tax-free long-term care dollars.
Okay, I have to stop you there. Talk about something that sounds good but can't possibly be true.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely, and it gets better than that.
Oh boy, this is ANITA FINLEY, and you know I've been on the radio a long time, and I've had a lot of people, of course, on the radio show, and I always like to deal with people who are very honest and very straightforward, and I have found that to be with Gary Polk. So I am listening. My ears are up.
Well, you know, it's funny because I believe if people knew this existed, they, you know, at the bakery, how you take numbers, or at the deli, they would be doing that at my office. But the education is not out there, Anita.
Okay.
People aren't aware of that. So taking it one step further, so now you've moved money, hundreds now worth $300,000 or $400,000, same qualifying triggers to receive benefits. But what happens if you never need it? You hope you never need it. What happens to your money? Well, you are going to pass away one day, so that $100,000 would then turn into approximately, depending on your age, a $200,000 death benefit. So you have $300,000 or $400,000 for long-term care benefits tax-free. If you never need the money, it's a $200,000 tax-free death benefit. And one step even further, what happens if you change your mind?
That was my next question.
What? I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money.
Okay, now something happened. I need a new car. What do I do?
Now, people do not cancel long-term care insurance, but wouldn't it be nice to know that if you wanted to do that, you could, depending on the policy, you could get back all or most of your money, no questions asked, no surrender charges. And I call that live, die, or quit.
Live, die, or quit.
Live, need long-term
right.
care, and you have this $300,000 or $400,000 pool of dollars. never need it and pass away, and it pays off in the death benefit, or simply change your mind and get all or most of your money back. Let me ask you a question, Anita. Why wouldn't you do it?
I don't know why. I'm speechless right now.
Well,
and that says a lot about me. How could I be speechless, right? So tell me why that's possible. I want to get into the intricacy of this.
Not why it's possible. It's an insurance policy. That's one alternative to traditional use it or lose it expensive long-term care. Now, not everybody has $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 sitting around. So there are other policies that have been created over the years that come in the form of a life insurance policy, like a universal or an index or a whole life insurance policy that comes with a long-term care rider. Some it's a slight cost, internal cost. Some are actually free. So the primary reason for a policy like this would be life insurance, death benefit protection, cash accumulation, but along with it is a long-term care rider. So say you're paying a premium, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a year. You bought yourself $170,000 life insurance policy. I'm just making up the numbers. And if you don't die and you don't tap into it for cash and you need long-term care, you could tap into that death benefit while you're alive, a living benefit, a critical illness benefit to pay for long-term care costs.
And so what it does then, you still have a life insurance, which is just less money. That's all.
That's right. It gets reduced.
It's very nice that would happen. I've always wondered why that never happened before. I mean, it's your money, you're hoping, but it's because I always thought the insurance company, they didn't want to pay any money out. They just wanted to keep that money at the time that you die. That's it. But now you're giving them. This is a very, I don't know who's thought of this, but I think it's very good.
Some of these policies have been around 20 years, some more recently. There are also policies that have a return of premium rider. Similar, but a little different format, but you pay premium for so many years, and if you've never needed it, you can get your money back. Like I said, most people aren't aware.
But let's say, like, I have a life insurance policy, but I have borrowed on it. So that money is been borrowed, and it's less now. When I die, it will be less, but it's still an insurance policy.
Correct.
So what you're saying is somebody could do that if they needed it.
Yes. There are other tremendous tax advantages of some of these variations. Let me give you an example of that.
You got your CPA hat on.
Thank you. Right. Say you own a life insurance policy, and the purpose was you had growing kids. And now they're grown up, they went to college, and they're self-sufficient. So the reason that you bought it is really no longer, but you don't have long-term care. Now you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, and you know that is a sore spot, or you're leaving yourself vulnerable of a high probability of occurrence item that can be devastating financially and devastating to your family. So you can do what's called a 1035 tax-free exchange and internally move cash values from your life insurance policy directly into one of these asset-based long-term care policies with no taxes on any gains that might be in your policy. And now you have long-term care. The benefits that you receive from it are income tax-free.
Okay, so I want to stop you there. I want everyone to know who's talking here. Gary Polk. And Gary is the founder of Strategic Wealth Advisors. He also worked for the IRS, which I think is kind of interesting. And he also, of course, he's a CPA. He's been trained in all those things. And he's giving us a lot of good ideas. And the way to really get beyond this is to meet with him, because he may have other ideas, too. He hasn't had time to really express here on this show. You don't get much time. But let me give you his phone number. Let me first give you his website. Go to swafinancial.com, swafinancial.com, and you can call him on his cell at 954-295-7327. So, Gary, the one thing that I think that's amazing about you, you've been in business with financial strategies for a long
30
time.
years.
How come you're still so enthusiastic? You are one of the most enthusiastic people I've come upon.
Well, thank you.
You must love this.
Well, my marketing strategy is through education. That's my strength. So I do seminars, radio shows, events, etc. People need help out there. I also put on financial literacy workshops, which is another topic. I represent a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 public benefit corporation called SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness. And we offer free financial literacy workshops for all kinds of organizations, other nonprofits, businesses, hospitals, medical facilities, you name it. We offer as a value added to the employer for their employees 1-hour workshops on over 30 different topics.
So some of the topics we've been talking about, but of course a huge other amount. So that's really nice that you do that, I must say. And I think you are so well, you're an achiever. I will just say that you are a high achiever. And you do, always get the feeling you want to share everything you know with our listening audience,
Well, I want to help people.
with Boomer Times. You do.
There's solutions out there, and
Yep.
people just aren't aware of them.
That's true. Well, Gary, I certainly have learned a lot, and I think the way for people to really know more is to call you. Please call him. Be surprised. Come back and tell me what's happened, because I just enjoyed this, and it makes me start thinking, and it gives me a chance to share all the information that you've imparted.
Qualify for a free scholarship.
That's right.
$1,000
Yep,
free.
Yep. It's a unique program, and I'm glad that you've come here to share it with us.